happy 2012. I'm your realtor in Victoria, Fergus Kyne from viewthehome.ca and Remax Alliance. I'm here with Ruben Danicotti. Good to see you again, Ruben.
Good to see you, Fergus. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Ruben is the assessor for the Capital Region of BC Assessment, and we're here today to talk about the fact that today in the mail you're going to find your property assessment for 2012. Some people have already gone online as early as mid-December, I think you said, to see those values.
Actually, probably January 1st.
January 1st?
Available, yeah, that's
okay,
right.
Sorry, January 1st. So you'll be receiving in the mail your property assessment notice for 2012. And Ruben, I know you're getting a lot of demands from various media around town. People are always anxious to know what happened. So can you make a comment and let us know what happened this year?
Sure. So Fergus, for residential properties, what we saw on average for the entire region, that's Capital Assessment Region in Greater Victoria, was about -2% to about +5%. And that, to me, Fergus, is a characterization of a stable market. It's a very stable market. You're going to see some minor shifts, but ultimately the values are still pretty tight year after year.
Okay, so we didn't see any major drop-offs in value, and we didn't see any major spikes like we've seen in some other markets around, even here in British Columbia.
That's right. I mean, if you look at the Greater Vancouver market, they're seeing some pretty substantial increases, spikes, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think the news is good here in Victoria. You know, all we have to do is think about what's happening in the global economic crisis. You don't have to look too far. South of the border, you'll see what's happening mm-hmm. with the market values down there, taking a drastic decline in values. But you know, I'm really pleased to say that in a marketplace like Victoria, although there's all these global economic situations going on, the south of the border situation, we are able to report back a stable economy. So all in all, a really good economic situation, good real estate market, despite a lot of supply out there.
Okay, well that should give people a fair amount of confidence going forward that there might have been some people thinking that they were going to get their tax assessment or the property assessment notices and thinking that they were going to see a major decrease, but that hasn't happened clearly when you say that it's gone from -2 to -5.
+5.
To +5, sorry, from -2 to +5. The other question I wanted to ask you was what has happened in the non-residential, commercial and industrial sector? I know you had some interesting news to report about that.
Absolutely, yeah. So commercial, industrial, and some multifamily properties, investment type properties, interestingly, very strong market. We're seeing about increases from +5% to about +15%. And the bulk of that change is occurring in two areas. One is commercial properties in the Douglas Street corridor from uptown all the way down the hillside. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a transformation of that whole corridor, redevelopment and so forth. Commercial vacant commercial land is pretty rare to find these days, so not a lot of supply. Investors are looking for good quality commercial properties to invest in, and supply is not there, so that's driving pressures on prices upwards.
Right, and we've seen and heard about some pretty big numbers in sales recently with commercial properties right on the Douglas corridor, in fact, from downtown up to the area you're describing.
That's right, and so there's a lot of market transactions mm-hmm. there, and that's basically what we're doing is we're reporting what we're seeing in the marketplace.
Okay, and so that as well, I know that you've made a comment about the fact that that should give people a fair amount of confidence about what's going on here in our local market. It's unlikely that we're going to see the types of dips or spikes that perhaps some other areas have witnessed.
That's an interesting point. What I'd like to share is, I mean, if you look at the Victoria market, residentially speaking, for mm-hmm. the past 10 years, 5 or 10 years, the values have seen consistent growth and stability, What we don't see in this marketplace is sudden spikes or sudden troughs. Mm-hmm. And that's a good sign of a healthy, sustainable real estate marketplace. So the fact that commercial property is increasing is also good news because as commercial grows, the other properties surrounding commercial also tend to sustain.
Okay. I'm going to wrap this up by asking you about the website bcassessment.ca.
That's correct.
Right, and within that website you can go to the section that's called eValue.
eValue BC.
eValue BC, and people can make some of their own investigations. Just briefly tell us about some of the searches that people can do this year that they weren't able to do in previous years.
Absolutely. It's a great tool. It's free. It's available for anybody to use. You don't have to be a property owner. You can be just anybody looking for information. And there's two key things that you can search there. You can search assessments by address. So you can put in your property address, and it'll provide you with comparable assessments of other properties on your street and your neighbors. The other thing you can do is you can search sales by address. So you put in your address, and it'll provide you with sales of properties that's sold in your area, so that you can be satisfied, first of all, if your 2012 assessment as of July 1st, 2011 reflects market value.
Okay.
2, if it's uniform and consistent with other similar properties in your neighborhood.
Okay, and I think that's a wonderful and very helpful change to the way that the whole system runs. And I'll just wrap this up by saying that I know that you guys are always available to help people through any type of procedure specifically related to if somebody wants to challenge or appeal their assessment notice.
That's right. What we're encouraging people to do is go to eValue BC, as we talked about, check out the information. If you're not satisfied, give us a call, talk to one of our appraisers, and if you're still not satisfied at that point in time, then you have an option to file a notice of complaint or an appeal, and that date's January 31st, 2012.
Okay, and I'll be back to speak to you before the month is out so we can talk one more
Sounds
time
good.
about exactly what the appeal process involves.
Super.
I'm your realtor in Victoria, Fergus Kyne, viewthehome.ca and REMAX Alliance. This is Ruben Danicotti from BC Assessment Authority. Talk to you soon.